Hey everyone, it's Lexie. So in today's video I'll be doing my spoiler-free review of The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins, and obviously you guys know that this is the prequel to the Hunger Games that was just released, so I don't really need to explain too much about this, but basically the premise of this book is that it follows President Snow when he is 18 years old and he is tasked with being a mentor to a girl from District 12 who is a tribute, and it kind of follows his kind of quest and how he kind of became the person that we see him 60 years later. So I have a love-hate relationship with the Hunger Games. I thought the first book was okay, the second book was amazing, and the third one was just kind of eh. And it was one of the weird instances where I preferred the movies to the books, but nevertheless I was still really excited about this, and I think it's very interesting seeing how a villain becomes a villain. And this isn't necessarily a redemption storyline and makes you feel sorry for him. It's more for kind of understanding how Snow's choices led him to where he is today. So I will start off the bat with just saying I loved being back in this world. I didn't realize how much I missed it, and now I'm really nostalgic with just wanting to rewatch the movies. So it also has a lot of tidbits in here. I won't spoil anything, but it has a lot of tidbits that complement and little Easter eggs from the original trilogy, which I really enjoyed. I loved kind of those little tidbits that were sprinkled in here throughout this whole thing, and it gives you a different perspective, especially now that you kind of know more about Snow. You just kind of understand his, like, why he just reacted the way that he did. It was very interesting. And what I really liked about this book, like I said, it's not a redemption story. You kind of see how Snow kind of chose the path that he did, and it's very much kind of argues the relationship between nature versus nurture, but how it's ultimately our choices that make us the person that we are. And I really love how it explored that and explored kind of the depths of humanity and how so much of this, of how we are, like how we end up, is based up on our choices. And I really thought that was really well done. And the kind of just what makes a person a villain, or like what kind of leads them down that road, it was very interesting seeing how the choices he was making very much set him up for where we ultimately see him in the original trilogy. It was very interesting, and kind of the stuff that he does here, his attitude. Like, he's not a very likable character. He's a regular human at this point. He's not as kind of evil as we see him originally. He's not, you know, he's not very likable. He's very egotistical. He's very self-centered. He's kind of like rude and kind of mean and holds himself on a pedestal, and he has a lot of prejudice to people that are within the capital that are rich, and also the people in the district. So he's not a likable person in general. Like, I don't think I would be friends with him before this. So it's very interesting seeing that, and it's like I don't feel sorry for him whatsoever with this, but it was very interesting just seeing his kind of slow progression into who he was eventually, the person that we see him as his transition into that person, I think was very interesting. I loved the concept of him being a mentor from a girl from District 12. I thought that was a very interesting twist on it, and you can kind of see why he doesn't like District 12. I think that was very interesting, and just basically reliving the Hunger Games again, which I thought was really good. I did have a few complaints with this. I felt like it was just maybe like 200 pages too long. I did enjoy some parts, but I feel like kind of the middle half of the book was very, very slow, and it struggled a lot from the pacing issues. And yeah, I just felt like it was a little bit too long, and I was kind of losing interest towards the end, but the last like 20 pages or so were really quite intense, and I was like, oh man, like it's very interesting and just like that. So overall I gave this a 3.5 out of 5 stars, which is kind of in line with the regular ratings I gave book 1 and book 3. Obviously book 2 got a 5 out of 5 stars because we all know it was amazing. yeah, like I felt like I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. I loved kind of understanding how his choices impacted his future and ultimately how they led him down that path, like how he was conscientious about his decisions and his choices, and just seeing how he became more vindictive as the book went on, and his struggle with like power and kind of contract and keeping like his mentality. You kind of see him work through his, like when he's still, like you can see him work through eventually the mindset that he gets in the trilogy, which I thought was really interesting, but it was just kind of slow. Like I said, I think it could have, 200 pages could have easily been shaved off this, and yeah, it was just like a little too long, and it suffered from some pacing issues. But like overall, I felt like this was a very decent prequel that I thought was really well done. It wasn't more like much of like a money grab, but I thought there was a lot of thought into paying respect to the original trilogy, but also kind of developing more background into one of the main antagonists of the series, which I thought was very well done. I will have to point out, because this made me laugh, so I ordered this off of Amazon, like pre-ordered it back in like March, and one of the pages was folded, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting, and so I went to unfold it, and so I guess it got folded when they were making it, so I have this one randomly long piece, so it stays folded to prevent that. But I thought that was funny, fun little fact. But yeah, overall, it was a good read. Like, it wasn't my favorite thing, but I like how it expanded my kind of experience in the Panem world, which I thought was like it was enjoyable. Like, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like amazing. It didn't blow me away, but nevertheless it gave me more understanding of such a pinnacle character in the original trilogy, and also made me more conscientious of how ultimately our decisions that we make can ultimately have such a huge impact on our lives and other people's lives. So it's a very good lesson in there, and just the struggle with nature and nurture I thought was really well done. So that's it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below if you've read this book and what you thought about it, because I'm very curious, because the Goodreads reviews were kind of generally more positive, so I'm curious to see what you guys felt about it. Like I said, I was very like meh with the original trilogy. Like, I enjoyed it, but I felt like this one was on par with the original ones in terms of like where they, like, my enjoyment of them. I enjoyed them, but I didn't enjoy them as much as like the second one. But I'm curious to get to see what you guys thought about it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.